You know, if you've ever dealt with invoices, you know that figuring out the exact due date can sometimes feel like a real guessing game. So today, we're going to pull back the curtain on how a system like Dynamics 365 automates this whole process, making sure every single due date is calculated perfectly, every time. Let's jump right in. I mean, really think about it for a second. When someone says net 30, is that exactly 30 days from the invoice date? Or maybe it's just due at the end of the month? And what if a company has a rule that they only pay their bills on the 15th? Trying to track all that manually for hundreds or even thousands of invoices, that's just a recipe for disaster. This is the exact problem that automation was built to solve. All right, so let's start with the absolute basics. At its core, the logic is actually super simple, and it all begins with one central idea. This right here, this is the engine behind absolutely everything. In Dynamics 365, terms of payment isn't just some label you stick on an invoice. No, it's a powerful set of instructions that tells the system exactly how to figure out a due date. You're going to want to remember this term because we're going to see how it controls all the logic we talk about today. So the most basic instruction you can give the system is a simple two-step command. It just takes the date the invoice was created and adds a number to it. That could be a specific number of days or maybe a number of months. It's clean, it's simple, and it's the foundation for everything else. And this shows that basic logic perfectly. I mean, you've seen these terms a million times, right? Net 15, net 30, net 60. Well, in Dynamics 365, these aren't just words, they're direct commands. Net 30 literally means, hey system, take the invoice date and add 30 calendar days. Simple enough, right? Well, of course, business is rarely that simple. What if you have special agreements with your vendors to only pay on a certain day of the month? Or what if you want all the invoices that show up late in the month to get paid in the next month's payment run? That's where things get really cool. So now, let's build on that foundation. This is where that terms of payment setup really starts to shine, because it lets us handle all those real-world what-if scenarios with some pretty sophisticated automated rules. So, one of the most powerful rules is something called a cutoff day. This is just a fantastic tool for managing your cash flow and streamlining your payment process. It basically creates a monthly deadline. If an invoice gets posted before the cutoff, it gets paid in the current cycle. But if it misses that deadline, even by one day, it automatically gets pushed to the next one. And just look at the impact of that one little rule. Here, an invoice from January 9th makes the cutoff, so it's due in the current month, on January 15th. But look at this. An invoice posted just 3 days later, on the 12th, misses that deadline. So the system automatically pushes its due date a full month forward to February 15th. That's the power of this automation. No one has to think about it. It's just pure logic. And the cutoff day is just one of many tools in the toolbox. You can set up complex installment schedules. You can force all your due dates to land on a specific day of the month, say the 15th, no matter what the invoice date is. You can even define different behaviors for different ways of paying. The flexibility here is just immense. Okay, so we've seen all the individual pieces, right? The basic day offset, the cutoff day, the payment day. Now let's see how the system actually combines them all into one single, powerful configuration. You can think of this whole setup as your central control panel for due dates. Within one single terms of payment configuration, you define all the rules at once: your base offset, your payment and cutoff days, and your payment method. You build the logic just one time, right here, and it works perfectly every single time after that. And here's where the real magic happens. Once you've built that logic, you simply assign it to a customer or a vendor record. From that moment on, every single transaction for them automatically gets these rules. This is how you scale from managing 10 invoices a month to 10,000, all without losing control or accuracy. Now, I know this might seem like a small technical detail, but getting this right has a massive impact on the entire business. So let's talk about the real payoff for setting this up correctly. This right here is the key takeaway. When your due dates are calculated by a system using a consistent set of rules, your financial reporting becomes incredibly reliable. Everybody in the company, from accounts payable all the way up to the CFO, is looking at the exact same accurate data. What this really does is it creates a single source of truth. There are no more debates about when an invoice is really due, no more digging through spreadsheets trying to track some special arrangement. The system holds the one definitive answer, and it applies it without fail every single time.
So as we wrap up, it kind of leaves us with a question, doesn't it? We just saw how a complex, error-prone process like calculating due dates can be totally automated with a clear set of rules. So what's one manual calculation or repetitive task in your own work that could benefit from that same kind of thinking? It's definitely something to think about. Thanks for watching.